Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Britt. Britt. Britt, at one point I thought her name was actually Brittany. Has been, from the time that she has gotten back on this show, has been a royal pain in the ass, specifically to Jason. Now, I know that when it comes to soap operas, opinions will vary, right? Like for me, Jason perplexed me because on one hand, I understand why he did what he did. On the other hand, I'm still sitting there saying fuck Jason and the horse he rode in on for being a rotten ass bitch. But that's neither here or there. The point is that our opinions and feelings will vary. But I think that we can mostly agree that Britt must have lost her goddamn mind today. First of all, Jason comes to pick up the rest of his stuff like she's been asking, and she's waiting there. I mean, he's waiting there. He's like, what are you doing here, pretty much? He's like, I'm here to pick up the rest of my stuff. I mean, you've been sent to ask me to do that. Then she starts getting him all sorts of attitude. Up until a point where it's like, finally, when she starts walking up the stairs, because she's like, all right, I don't want you to just kind of rummage into my stuff. He just has this look on his face like, what is with you? He's like, oh, well, couldn't you just have Carly just, open the door for you and get the rest of your stuff? Well, if he would have did that, then you would have been like, oh, you're invading my privacy. Da 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 da. She's like, oh, right. I'm like, girl, this whole you being a bitch to him is coming across a little bit too naturally. So finally, she lets him come to pick up the rest of his stuff. And this is after she was giving him hell attitude. She's like, oh, Jason, I need to ask you a question. Could you co-sign, this loan for me so this way I can get a car, for getting back and forth? I was like, well, you've been giving this man attitude since day one that you've gotten back. And you have the audacity to sit there and ask this man to co-sign a loan for a car. What? So he does it. Ladies, I'm going to sit there and tell you this right now, okay? If you act like a royal bitch to a man, we are just going to walk away. Now, if you are hot, we'll give you a little bit more slack. We'll give you way more slack. But even that slack comes to a certain... Even that slack has limits. Okay? And Britt is pretty. At best. But, yeah. No. Yeah. So, she asked for a loan, and he starts to co-sign it. You can tell just, how, she has a lot of pride and stuff like that. She doesn't like asking for help. And I'm like, that's the last thing that should be low on your face. Like, you should be thanking Jesus or whatever God that you pray to, that you found somebody that's honestly, tell you, truth, dumb enough to sit there and take the amount of shit that you are giving. As he's reading it, he's like, a Mercedes Benz? I was like, wait, huh? He didn't just ask this man, because he was like, oh, I need a car that I can sit there and get from point A to point B. Something practical. He was like, a Mercedes Benz? I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, yeah, that's why I was there driving before at the Five Poppies before, an incident happened with a donkey. You hit a donkey? It's like, yeah, but it's fine, though. And plus, he practically said what I was saying, that you drive like shit. So, I don't know if I should be doing this. But he decides to sit there and do it. Like an idiot. Okay? I know people are going to sit there and say, but, he's patient and this, that, and the third or whatever. No. Now Josslyn comes downstairs from after having this conversation with Carly, which I'm gonna be honest, didn't really do anything for me. I mean, the only thing that I can sit there and smile in this conversation, there's a point where she talks about like the trip to Easter Island, her WSB training and stuff, was life changing, and she wants to do something good for the world, and all this other stuff. She felt like she had some light. She got a fire lit back into her, in a sense. So Carly don't like the fact that she's lying, but there's a part of her that does feel like she's very fond of what she does. She came out of a very dark place because of what she's doing. Now, granted, she's worried and da 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 and a bunch of other stuff that I know nothing about. But the point is that she does feel that she is getting some sort of light back in her from what she did, or from what she's doing. Now she goes downstairs and she talks about her conversation with Carly. Jason's like kind of surprised, like, oh, she didn't really like lay into you or anything, like that was it. And Britt says something snide like, oh, I'm pretty sure she'll act different if she knew you was a WSB agent. At this point, Josslyn's like, okay, all right, we're not going to keep doing this. He was like, we're not going to keep doing this. He's like, I thank you for saving my life, and I appreciate it. But if you tell her, if you make my life, if you tell her about the WSB stuff, she was like, I'm going to burn your life down to the ground because I can. Now I've went back and forth over the years with Josslyn. Okay, I I praised her when she whooped Nell's ass. I came down at her hard, practically with like the fucking god of thunder when she used Cameron like a toilet seat. Okay, that's going to be etched in my mind forever, and I'm always going to bring that up. But when she was like, "I'm going to burn your life down to the ground because I can," I'm like, I guess today I like Josslyn. Today I like Josslyn. I don't know how I'm going to sit there for on Monday or Tuesday, but today I like Josslyn. Um, this conversation with Chase and Dante, you realize something. They both are impartial. I mean, they both can be impartial to this whole thing. It's just that Chase is a lot louder about it. He's sitting there saying, "Oh well, Mike could have did it, and Will is not the type of person." And Dante's like, "Oh, I told you about this. Like, you can't be doing this." And Chase is like, "Well, Michael killed somebody and bashed somebody in the head and stuff like that." And you know, Dante's like, those are two completely different circumstances. They are, but the point is, both of them can't be objective. You know. Nina is continuing with this lie. Justine's like, "I'm gonna sit there and give you some time, because if you don't tell me the truth, it's going to come across as you are conspiring with Willow to kill a congressman. You both could be doing a very long time, as opposed to a fine, probation for a year, and that's it." Now Nathan kind of coaxes out, some of the stuff from Dante as far as what's going on with Nina, and he gets down there to the courthouse or whatever. And Marco is like, "Yo, listen, you need to sit there and tell the truth, because at this point, the alibi is already out. Nobody's believing this alibi." She's like, "I got to do this for Willow. I got to do this for Willow." Jay, as she calls him, comes in and says the same thing. So now you have a former cop and an attorney sitting there saying, this lie is not going to matter. What you're doing is actually worse. Worse for Willow. Hell, what she did was worse by sitting there including this lie, because now it comes across like you are covering for her, like you know that she did it, or you two conspired to do it. Her heart was in the right place. Okay? I know people don't like Nina, and trust me, I get why. Her heart was in the right place. But she is doing more harm than good. And she has two people that are in a law field that's they're telling her this for like a good 10 minutes. I'm like, "Nina, I think you need to listen." She's like, "But I don't want to abandon her." They're like, yo, you're gonna be doing her more of a favor if you just tell the truth. Meanwhile, um, Willow is not there trying to shift blame to Michael, and Marty is just not there trying to get her on bail. Now, what I didn't understand is at one point Drew comes in after talking to Chase for like 5 minutes, comes in, and then Martin's like, I can't be your attorney. I can't be your defense attorney. Because technically she's the accuser and Drew's the victim. He's like, I can't do that. Like that's malpractice, that's disbarment. I can't do that. So you need to sit there and find yourself a good criminal attorney. Rick has been in the hospital for days. I don't know if they're going to be able to get him in time. Um, but yeah, and at this point, Willow asked Drew, "Hey, remember you said you was going to lie for me? Are you willing to do that still? Because at this point, Michael really set me up, and he's diabolical. And you're right. You've been right the whole time. And the minute he was like, it basically snipped this thing. Well, if you lie and you get back my kids, I will do anything for you." And you can see the devilish look, smile on Drew's face. Now, before we get to the rest of this, because they added like 18 something characters. As most people know, a lot of people don't like Drew. They think Drew is the worst. Drew is not the worst. We're going to be dropping a video tomorrow. I'm deciding to do it tomorrow. I'll show you who a true monster is. And that's what I'm going to sit there and say. I'm going to sit there and drop a video tomorrow. And it's going to sit there and show you exactly what an evil, vindictive, subhuman being actually is. Now, and then there's talk with Brooklyn and Michael. And Michael practically was like, I set that whole thing up so this way she can only get supervised visits. I forgot exactly how he did it, how he explained it, but he was like, he set that whole thing up. So this way he can only do she can only do supervised visits. And the thing is, right, the more he's not there talking to Brooklyn, the more Brooklyn is looking uncomfortable and looking like she doesn't even notice man. And I like it in a sense, right? Because she's not looking at Michael like the Michael that she knew. The kind, sweet, gentle, compassionate person. This is somebody who is being chess moves. He's like, hey, listen, I can't sit there and worry about Willow. I got to worry about the kids. You can just tell the more he's talking and what he's doing and how he's planning it, that she just feels like it's like she's not saying it, but she's kind of being like, all right, bro, you don't think that this is a little kind of like diabolical? But see, the thing about Michael is that, he realized that you gotta fight fire with fire. If you feel like you are doing it for the greater good, you have to be the monster to sit there and save your kids. You have to be the monster to sit there and save your kids. And that's how he is sitting there looking at it. And I can't fault him for that. I mean, Willow is practically throwing herself and basically sitting there saying, you can have me if you lie to the police and you get me my kids back. that's literally what she's doing. And of course, Dante comes to Michael at the end and is like, hey, listen, I'm coming as your brother, now as a cop. Convince me that you did not sit there and plant the evidence and on Willow. And that's what Willow's sitting there saying. Willow's like, yo, he set me up. Oh, and then there's a conversation with Jack and Anna, pretty much about, you talked to Valentine, what did you find out? What did you find out about Faison? For like 20 minutes, she is sitting there asking these questions. So for 20 minutes, Jack is just sitting there stalling. Not stalling, he's stonewalling. He's not giving her anything. He's like, yo, listen, it's national security, it's above your clearance, above your pay grade, I'm not telling you shit. And that's pretty much it. That is generally the essential conversation that they have. And I almost forgot about it, but I lost count. I'm guessing it's over 15 something characters. And then towards the end, after the conversation with Carly and Josslyn, Jack comes in and Jack is like, "Did you miss me?" Now, it sees in the previews that Carly, reams out Jack for putting her daughter in a WSB. I swear it must have been over like 14 something characters because I've lost count. And I don't feel like Snit they're really trying to like count. But like I would definitely sit there and say it's in the 14th range. Pretty amazing, right? Now, also I forgot to sit there and say that the Emmys is on tonight, from what I understand. And it's gonna be 3 hours. Yeah, that is just excessive. I don't know what the hell to do. Also, and it's gonna be on live. So online, 3 hours, and for smart reason, they actually thought that this was a good idea. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. I'll be doing the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be talking about all 5 of the shows. As you know what they are. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to do Beyond the Gates review, but if it's good, I'll try. If it's kind of lame, then I don't know if I will, but I don't know. I feel like, there's a lot of times it's like I want to do it, and if I have the time, I will do it, but I also feel like I'm not going to sit there and like practically break my neck to sit there and do it. Um, Part of me is like, maybe I should go back to days. It really just depends on how much time I actually have to do it. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. If I miss anything, write in the comment section below. And again, I'll be snitching dropping a new video tomorrow because people will sit there and think that Drew's a monster. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you exactly what a monster is. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you on the next video.